These people are mad because you really stand to yourself is better than being around the wrong people. Welcome to All Things Woman, where we discuss femininity, womanhood, and I give you overall life advice. So if any of that interests you, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Hopefully the sound is working now because I really want to get into this topic, but technology. So again, we are talking about you realize staying to yourself was better than being around the wrong people. I'm going to wait for a few of you to come on. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Awesome. Awesome. Technology. I can't stand technology sometimes. But we are back. You realize staying to yourself was better. Yes, it's working. Can you all hear me? Let me know in the comments. You realize staying to yourself was better than being around the wrong people. When I speak about staying to yourself, I'm not speaking about being antisocial. I'm speaking about being selective. And that's something that many women do not understand. I hear you. Welcome to the live chat. Awesome, awesome. When you realize that staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people, there are going to be some people who are going to side eye you. They're going to treat you as if you've done something wrong. They're not quite going to understand the idea or the fact that you're choosing to move differently as a woman. Some people might think, why would someone care if you decide to stay to yourself? Staying to yourself is a power move, in my opinion. When you are not the kind of person that is so desperate for friendships, so desperate for people, there are some people who will want to try to force themselves on you. When you set up boundaries with people who you're choosing to distance yourself from for good reasons, they're not going to understand why you're choosing to stay to yourself. Some people are hoping that you choose not to stay to yourself or that you're so desperate for them that you continue to deal with the negative things they do to you. Now, I'm not speaking about, being antisocial or, being mean to people or just staying away from people in general. I'm talking about specific situations and specific people. I'm very selective and mature stage of my life. I enjoy my own company. Positive vibes 7684. Awesome. Yes, yes. Thank you for being a voice of reason. Bonnie Stonehouse, you are welcome. Because I think sometimes some of the videos that I make, people misconstrue, stand to yourself, being alone, being an introvert, as if you just don't like people. No, it's the snarky jabs for me that can go off course. I'll be to myself. Diana, you are absolutely right. So stand to yourself. How is that a power move? Women, so first of all, women who have dealt with a lot of the jealousy, envy, or just miserable behavior from other people, when you get to a place where you are not desperate for other people, meaning you like people, but you don't necessarily want to deal with them on end, simply because some of the snide remarks, the little nasty comments, people crossing your boundaries, that is when you start realizing that staying to yourself is a power move. It's a power move because, number one, you protect yourself emotionally and mentally. For a woman, as she ages, as she gets more mature, as she develops in her personal life, she wants to protect her mental and her emotional well-being. And staying to yourself is one way that you can do that. Now, it's not to say, because some people will try to gaslight you into believing, oh, so what you're saying is that you're not strong enough to deal with people. You're not strong enough to deal with, the issues of life, as if you're weak. That is not the case. You're in control of yourself and what you do. If you get around negative stuff, you can get negative stuff back. Absolutely. It's about protecting your mind and protecting your spirit, the way I believe. When you are around people who constantly test your limits, when you are around people who are constantly playing with you emotionally and mentally, you start realizing that it's better to stay to yourself than to be around certain people. There are some women, it's like they don't understand that they are almost tormenting themselves by the people they choose to be around. I understand that being around familiar people, people that, might be considered family, friends, people you've known for a long time. But when women start getting used to dysfunction, you don't even realize that you're accepting things into your life, people into your life that are not normal. You start accepting things that are hurting you, that are hindering you, and you don't even realize it because for so much of your life, this has been the way you moved. You are around the people who weren't enthusiastic about anything you do. They always make little negative and nasty remarks about you. They always have something negative to say. And for a long time, you were okay with that. For a long time, you didn't realize, okay, these people are treating me a certain way, but you're trying to overlook things, but you feel uneasy on the inside. This is about protecting your mental and emotional state as a woman. That's one of the reasons. Angel Griffin, I be just liking the quiet. I had loud music early in life, and it's separate from my personal time, like night and day, light and dark. I open up as necessary. And that's okay. Everybody doesn't have the personality to want to deal with all that noise and all the extraness and, a lot of conflict. If you're the kind of person that doesn't like to be around a lot of noise, like you just enjoy peace and quiet, that's one thing. But what I'm mainly talking about is shielding yourself from those things that might penetrate you mentally and spiritually, those toxic things that'll get you thinking bad about yourself. Because the more you are around people who are toxic, people who are miserable, people who maybe are jealous or envious, those kind of things, that's going to rub off on you. It's going to make you start feeling as if there's something wrong with you instead of recognizing situations for what they are. And it's not all people, of course, it's not all people, but how many women have left situations or left conversations with their so-called friends and or family, and now you're wondering, what does she mean by that? Or, why is she being funny? I feel like she's being a little funny. See, and I'm going to get into this later in the live, but like that, in the beginning, when you are first starting to recognize these kind of toxic traits in people, some women who are not yet emotionally and mentally strong enough to recognize this toxic stuff, you'll start taking it out on yourself. You'll be sitting there trying to figure out, what did I say and or do to make them treat me this way? What did I say and or do? What's wrong with me? And nobody's perfect, okay? Nobody's perfect. You have the ability to rub people the wrong way, just like they have the ability to rub you the wrong way. But sometimes it's those people that are a little bit like, it's like you trigger something on the inside of them that causes them to mistreat you. And it's not anything negative that you're doing, it's something positive that you're doing. On this channel, I speak so much about jealousy and envy between women, and we have a book, a book, Jealousy and Envy Amongst Women, Girl on Girl Wars, a book on jealousy and envy amongst women. If you have not gotten that book, I suggest you to do so. But I speak about this so much so because when you're around a woman, or anybody for that fact, but I speak to women, when you're dealing with women who are jealous and envious of other women, sometimes you could be so kind, so sweet, so nice to this person, and they will still treat you like crap. And women who are not yet emotionally strong enough, women who are not yet grounded and have an understanding of how women operate, especially when they're jealous and envious of other women, you will carry the way other women treat you as if there's something wrong with you, as if you need to dumb yourself down in order for women to feel comfortable with you. Not until you realize that sometimes these people, other women specifically, are fighting their own issues. They're fighting their own insecurity, and they're taking it out on you. That's when you start realizing you are not the problem. Sometimes women just act this way because they have their own issues and they want to take out on other women. So when I speak on these things on this channel, we're getting to the root because it's important. And I saw a comment of a woman saying, sometimes I don't want to watch these kind of videos because I feel like it's negative. I hate to tell you this, but there's nothing positive about jealousy or envy. I don't know exactly what you would expect from speaking on this kind of topic. However, we don't just talk about these things just to talk about it. The more you're aware of how nasty, how envious, how jealous, and how miserable some women can be, the less you will take these behaviors out on yourself. The less you will start, the more you will start looking at yourself and saying, okay, I didn't do anything wrong to her. That's her problem. I didn't do anything wrong to them. That's their problem. I didn't even say anything. I just walked into the room and now they're acting weird. Now they're acting funny. That's not on me. That's on them. Style from Within Ministries. Now these videos are not negative. They are encouraging to me. I appreciate you. Wow, you're so deep. I love it. Mary, Mother of God, thank you. I understand that, but I don't like negative things. It brings it around. I'm getting that book. Get the book if you haven't done so. Excellent content. Thank you very much. So yeah, we don't just talk about this stuff because we love just talking about this. No, it's so that when you walk, it's really not, it's deep, but once you get to a point where you want to understand, you'll realize it's not that deep. It's about keeping your confidence up as a woman and understanding what you're dealing with. It's so that you walk into a room and you're still going to show up being confident because you don't care, because you already know what it is. And true, everybody's not jealous. Just because they're acting funny, because they're acting this way, that way, that doesn't mean everybody is jealous of you. Yes, I understand. I've saw some of those comments before. I get it. Everybody's not jealous of somebody. Some people are just evil. Some people are just odd. I get that. But a lot of the times, especially all of the things I've spoken on this channel over the years about these different issues that have happened between women, some so like lethal where the women are not even here anymore. This stuff is not to be taken lightly or to be played with. And it's not a waste of time talking about this stuff. You know who wants you to think it's a waste of time talking about these kind of things? The people who are the ones who do the things that I speak on. They're the ones who don't want to hear it. They're the ones who say, you need to speak about something more positive. I know you have something else to say. And believe it or not, I don't really get too many of those comments. I get like a handful of those comments once every few months. So more times than not, the women who follow this channel, you get it. This is a confidence building encouragement, helping women to recognize the craziness so that they are not victims of it. Not jealousy, but have a low view of themselves and others. Some channels teach to be hyper vigilant about these dynamics, but I appreciate how you speak on it. Absolutely. Some channels, and I get that too. So I understand how sometimes people can take this as you're just harping on the negative things. Do you have something positive to say? You point me to all the positive things happening in the world, and I will create a channel dedicated to that. Because me and my personal life, I love all things positive, cutesy, and whimsical. I like, behind me, there's a sign that says glitter makes me happy. But there is more horse manure in the world than there is glitter. Okay. I love glitter. I love roses. I love candles. I love cute coffees that are tasty. I love my cute head wraps and fashion and dresses and jewelry and hairstyles and doing hair and nails. I love all of that stuff. But if I got on here and talked about those kind of things, people say it's boring. And I'm not saying I talk about this stuff because it's what people how can I say it? It is what you want to hear, and I'm here to serve you, the viewer. However, people don't want to hear things that convict them to think about their own ways. And those are the things that are needed. I'm cute, I'm confident, I'm following the aesthetic. You can hear that everywhere, anywhere. You should feel great about yourself. But there are some things you can't even get to the point of focusing on the more whimsical things in life if you're not aware of the evils around you. See, on this channel, we don't do clueless or aesthetic femininity. We don't do aesthetic femininity. We don't do aesthetic womanhood. We don't do aesthetic personhood, okay? If you're a guy watching, because I know I have a handful of men watching this, I appreciate you. We don't do anything superficial or aesthetical here. You can't truly be unbothered if you're still walking into rooms around other women feeling intimidated. You can't truly feel unbothered and confident in your body and yourself as a woman if you're still worrying about the snickers and the side eyes from your coworkers. You can't truly show up confidently if those things people say or somebody looks at you the wrong way and you're like feeling like, what did I do? You can't be unbothered that way. We get to the root. How to be an unbothered woman. That is also another book that I have written. You should get that because in that book, I talk about these very things, but in detail. These channels are people, and I'm not knocking it. You know, there's a room for superficial and cutesy, being unbothered. But you walk into a room ready to, tussle with somebody because they looked at you the wrong way. Instead of recognizing it for what it is, she's a hater. She's weird. She's odd. That's her problem, not my business. That's how you remain unbothered. As long as you are still showing up in rooms, wondering what's going on, instead of knowing what's going on and not caring, that is when you will be unbothered. And there are some people, they master in teaching people how to be superficially unbothered. Be mean, look mean, be paranoid. No, I'm just telling you straight up human behavior. And I'm not telling you this so that you're like, oh, they're out to get me. The way I believe, and you can call this what you want, I don't believe people have that kind of power. Because for me, from a spiritual standpoint, God has me covered. So I'm not worried about these things. I'm aware of these things. I'm not worried about this. I'm going to show up wherever, whenever, and it's going to be okay, regardless of who's rolling their eyes, regardless of who don't like it. It is what it is. So I need you all to understand that. Pauline, welcome. Lovely Doll, welcome. I feel you've a personal view into my life. I don't know how I found your incredible guidance. This is God. Bonnie Stonehouse, I appreciate you. I've come across so many women my age, 35, that have been mean girl mentality. It's so embarrassing and childish. I'm way too old for this crap. Absolutely. I'm not starting. I get in them. Loving yourself in confidence. I'm not jealous of nobody and nothing. Alex, wonderful. So this is about having the confidence to deal with these things when it comes and not destroy yourself. So these people are mad because you have decided and realized staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people. When you start realizing that being around certain people might trigger anxiety for you, it might make you feel uneasy or uncomfortable. And I'm not saying because you have to give a big speech, you're public speaking. It's normal if you're not used to that to feel nervous. I'm talking about you want to be somewhere. So I'll give you an example. You're at the beach and you want to be there. You want to wear your nice swimsuit, whatever. And you see other women around and it's like, okay, you feel good about you. But when you go over there, other women are looking at you as if you don't belong there. What are you going to do? Are you going to absorb all of their looks and their stares and then walk away and just stay on the boardwalk? Or are you going to sashay over there, lay out your towel, sit down your drink, and enjoy yourself? You walk into the office and the girls don't talk to you, but it's clear they talk about you. You give your best effort in how you look. So you show up, you think you look cute. And you're walking in, and the girls, they look, all of a sudden the conversation stops and they're staring at you. What do? Do you get nervous? Do you just start trying to be, not seen? Do you suddenly go in the bathroom and wipe off your lips, lip gloss, pull your hair down so it can be more basic? Or do you walk in there exactly the way you planned it on and intending? Yep, both. The way you plan to, and go about your business? Do you know that you're there to visit your cousin, your auntie, your best friend, but so-and-so from up the street don't really like you like that? Are you still going to visit with your auntie, cousin, friend? Or are you going to let them run you away? Those kind of things. Latrice Gandy, if you're going to allow that to make you walk away, then you have not yet stepped into your confidence. And I say that with all love and respect. If you are still at the point where you are allowing other women's looks and emotions and feelings to run you off, then you have not yet got to that queen level. Now, I'm not saying to go into things that you can just easily walk away from. Okay. If some over aggressive issues, no. Over on my other channel, Soft Strength Society, we talk about avoiding those things that we can avoid. If conflict is not your thing and it's not worth it, then go away. But for most part, that's not how life is going to work. You can't just walk away from your job, most people, because somebody's giving you nasty looks or because they don't talk to you. Nor will you want to, because your goal of getting a check is more important than the way they look at you or the fact that they don't talk to you. Absolutely, lovely doll. But staying to yourself is more important than being around the wrong people. When you start realizing that being around certain people causes you immense anxiety, start causing you to second guess yourself, because as I'm speaking, all women have not gotten to that point. And this is no judgment. It took me a while to get to the point where I don't give a flying fig tree. And I say that for lack of a better word. It took me a long time to get to that point. So I'm not saying this is judgment. Absolutely not. I'm saying this because that's what it is. Absolutely. But when you realize staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people, it's like you don't care what it looks like to other people. So on the opposite side of that, when you are dealing with people who they want to put you in these situations where you can feel uneasy, if you're able to not be in their presence, don't be. And this is something that you learn as you get older. In your 20s and 30s, that's almost like the proving ground. So it's like, I don't know who she thinks she is. I'm going to be here, yada, yada, yada. But once you get to a certain age and you're confident in who you are and you have more options, more choices, which I'm going to get into that later on too, you start realizing that some people aren't worth the time. Some people aren't worth the energy. Some people aren't worth your presence. And I know that might sound harsh. Coworkers will try to affect your work life. They have very little real power, or they wouldn't need to plot every day. Oh, absolutely. And I've spoken about that, how, a lot of people, when they don't have any power in their own lives, they try to exude so much power in the workplace. Try to act like they're your boss when they're just a regular employee like you. I've spoken about that before. But as you get older, when you start realizing staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people, it becomes more so about protecting your mental and your spiritual well-being. And the way I was just speaking before, as women, even if we're gracious, kind, feminine, we can still be bold. We can still have that queen energy. We can still have that no nonsense, I'm not playing around energy. It's just the way you carry it. And it's what you decide to do with it. When you get to a place where people don't bother you the way they used to, especially other women, and I'm not saying we'll all get there to perfection because we're people, we're human. People can try you, people can test you. That's just a part of life. But when you stop worrying about, okay, they're looking at me this way, I wonder what they're thinking, that's when you're free. When you stop personalizing everything that people do and how they act and start realizing sometimes it's just their own issues, that's when you can show up more confidently as a woman. Staying to yourself is better than being around a bunch of people. When you start realizing that staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people, protecting your mental. How do you protect your mental? By realizing that staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people. First, let's understand what staying to yourself means. Staying to yourself is not necessarily not ever having any more human interaction. I want you to understand that. Staying to yourself does not mean that you no longer ever have any more human contact. It means you start treating yourself as exclusive. What do I mean by treating yourself as exclusive? I strongly believe that some women, and I'm also guilty of this, sometimes we don't realize we're just as valuable as the next person. Okay? You have some people, if they don't want to be bothered, they don't want to be bothered. And they don't care how it comes off to other people. Some people are overly selfish with themselves. They will treat you as disposable one day and then pick you up the next if you allow them. Knowing that, you start realizing you are just as valuable as the next person. I say that to say, when you start treating yourself as more exclusive, you stop being so easily available and open to anybody that wants your energy, that wants your time, that wants your help. You are not so open and easily available just to any and everybody. Women who understand that stand to themselves is better than being around the wrong people, you start realizing just how valuable you are as a person, that nobody else's thoughts and feelings or emotions are so much more important than yours, that you have to torment yourself by just going along to get along. You no longer have to subject yourselves to things that make you feel uncomfortable unless it's absolutely necessary and something you want to do. In other words, that people pleasing mentality, that's done. Tanika Lang, thank you so much. I just say this to myself. I told myself I will no longer let others make me feel embarrassed of the way I want to dress myself up. Absolutely. I can be other problem. Right? To me, it's being selective in who I communicate with and vibe with. It's exclusivity and VIP over here. Absolutely. VIP, absolutely. And that doesn't make you conceited. That doesn't make you think you're better than other people. It makes you wise. It makes you smart. For a long time, the idea of having a lot of people, because who doesn't want a big entourage, to feel like you have a lot of people supporting you, only to realize that half of the people in your circle, if not more, are straight up, how can I say this? They're not good people, or they're not your supporters. They're just taking up space. When you start realizing that staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people, you're not interested in having people around you taking up space. You're interested in having people around you that add value, or at the least, don't disrupt your nervous system. I'm the oldest person at my job. Wow, this video is right on time. Mr. Loris, I appreciate you. A person at my job with a higher position, and I get plotted against by the other person, women constantly. I'm taking this week off just to recenter myself. Do that. Stand to yourself too can be doing things like making sure you're making time for yourself so that you can clear your mental space, so that you can recharge your energy, recharge your spirit. Just sitting in the midst, good afternoon, trees love. Just sitting in the midst of miserable, toxic behavior, women who value themselves, we're not doing that. And we don't let people make us feel guilty for putting ourselves first. If people think you're selfish because you decided and realized that staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people, so be it. A lot of the times, the people who want to give you a hard time and say, oh, you're not around. Oh, you're not this. Oh, you're acting like you're better than us. Those are the very people that when you are in their presence, they give you a hard time. Or they're trying to make life as hard as possible for you. Or they're saying things out their mouths that they should not say. Sometimes the way we treat ourselves, we're teaching people how to treat us. And when you value yourself and start realizing that everybody don't deserve to be around you, everybody doesn't deserve your time and your energy, that's when people start getting themselves together, or at the least leave you alone. Absolutely, lovely doll. So when people are starting to trigger anxiety within you, now I understand, and anxiety, those kind of things, it happens to many people, and you have control over your emotions, but we're human, not robots. So the things you invite into your life, the people you invite into your life, that can have an impact on you mentally. That can have an impact on you mentally, spiritually. As women, it can affect your confidence. If you're constantly surrounding yourself with jealous, envious haters, not only do they hate on you, but they are just a hater in general. They like to speak badly on everybody else. They like to treat other people poorly. I saw a video not too long ago of a woman, she's like, I'm never hanging out with this girl again, because they were in a restaurant and the woman started treating the wait staff so poorly. Some people, and this is my opinion on this, sometimes you can tell you're dealing with an insecure, miserable person by how they treat people who are in a position to help them. People who like to mistreat the wait staff, people who like to yell at servers, waiters, put down people who are there to serve and to help them. I don't like that. I don't like that. Like, you're going to try to exude this power with somebody who is in a role to help you. I say that to say there are certain people, certain personality traits, certain character traits that women who choose to stay to themselves just do not like. For me, it's like, if every time we go out somewhere, you have to argue with somebody, if every time we go out somewhere, you have to try to, make things more deep or, more conflict driven than they have to be, that's not somebody I need to be around. And that's not somebody's personality. That's a mental defect. That's a personality or character flaw. To just want to pick arguments and issues with other people who are there to help you, that's a character flaw. I'm not saying if somebody did something to you. I'm saying if your natural personality is to belittle and put down and to try to make life hard for others, that's not normal. And women who realize staying to themselves is better than being around the wrong people, you don't even want to be associated with people who do those kind of things. Kalanaria, I thought it was just me. My grandma is always complaining and sending first dish back. Embarrassing. Sometimes people, you said your grandmother, sometimes people are set in their ways. I'm not excusing it, because there is no age. There's no age on etiquette, on manners, on treating people right. But sometimes people who tend to be a little older get set in their ways. That doesn't excuse the bad behavior. Because as we seen, it's a little bit of a sidebar, but still on point. As we just saw over on TikTok, they posted a video of a woman, an elderly woman. I forget the exact place where this happened, but she's no longer here because she tried this young girl. I don't know if she was in Popeyes or one of those other fast food places, but the young lady was doing her job. She didn't really give this woman a reason to do what she did to her. But she pretty much went after this woman physically. And the young girl gave it to her. And it caused the woman to have a heart issue. And she is no longer with us. It's unfortunate what happened, the entire situation. But I say that to say, sometimes older people, a little bit of a sidebar, but still on point, because it's still on point with sometimes staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people. Even some of those who you would think, and I don't care how this sounds, some of those you would think who would be older and wiser, you would think they know better. Sometimes they try you the most. Very argumentative, want to cause issues and stir up problems. And then when you are not standing for it, they're looking at you like, respect your elders or respect. Respect goes both ways. And I think somewhere along the lines, our older generation, not all, but some, have forgotten that. I've dealt with that recently, walking in the store, people think I'm this age, so the word excuse me means nothing. And it's like, no, you are still subjected to the same consequences of anyone else, unfortunately. And especially in this generation, that whole respecting your elders thing, I am a woman who respects her elders. So don't get me wrong. But respect is still respect. You're not going to talk to me, however. I remember when I was pulling up to a parking space outside of my house, and an older woman, she was telling me like, okay, you need to move up because of this, that you're taking up 2 spaces, yada, yada. My reasoning is I don't like for people to pin me into a parking space. So I'm going to make sure I leave enough cushion either behind me or in front of me so I can get out the parking space. I don't need anybody pinning me in. Did I need to explain that to her? Absolutely not. I just got out my car to mind my business and go in my house. And she felt the need to give me a lesson on parking. What did I do? I looked at her and went about my business. There's power in minding your business sometimes. And sometimes the older generation, they don't get it. Some of them are well-intentioned. Some of them just trying to get into some, I don't know. But I digress. I just like respecting people in general, no matter the age. Absolutely. Human decency, but especially older people. Absolutely. It's like most people weren't taught manners. Oh, yes. And I'm thinking about doing an actual video about that over on my other channel, Soft Scrim Society, about manners and etiquette, because that is truly a lost art form. But these people are mad because you realize staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people. If you start realizing that people are bringing the worst out of you, that might not be the people you need to be around. Now, we are all in control of ourselves. I understand I am, spiritually connected to God. So I understand fruits of the spirit, self-control. But it's also about not subjecting yourself to other people's temptation and trying you. Some people can tempt you to be the worst. And some of my moments when I didn't realize that I needed to shield myself better, that I needed to be more mindful of the company that I keep, I would constantly be around those who would cause me. I'm still in control. I'm not passing it over, saying it's their fault. But when you surround yourselves with people who deliberately bring the worst up out of you, that's when you start realizing it's better to stay to yourself. A woman who, and this is just my thoughts on this, as women, sometimes you can tell you're around the wrong people because you are heavily in that masculine energy. When you're around people who make you feel like you always have to be on the defense, you have to be ready to go at any moment, you're around the wrong people. If you're around people you don't feel safe around, you feel uneasy, you got to defend yourself, you're around the wrong people. For a while, I was around people who I would constantly be on the defense with, not because of something with me, but because they would constantly try me. And no matter what a woman says, just because you can be strong, just because you can deal with conflict, just because you can deal with people who are less than nice, for lack of a better word, that doesn't mean you always want to. I don't always, and I didn't want to always be in that energy where it's like, who are you talking to? Da, 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 da. Having to use expletives to get down to their level so they can get you, so they can back off. No, I'll just get away from the people. So these people are mad because you realize staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people. Staying to yourself, what's involved? So, as I was saying earlier, staying to yourself does not mean that you don't have any human interaction or contact with other people. It means that you are selective in who you are choosing to give your time and energy to. If people you get around rub you the wrong way for what other reason, as women, it's okay to say you don't vibe with someone. Everybody's not going to vibe with you. For me personally, loud, overbearing, mean-spirited personalities, I can't vibe with that. I was recently in a situation where there were some women, they were interacting with someone who we were both responsible for helping. And this woman was clearly the person that we needed to help. She was clearly in distress. She was clearly distraught. She clearly needed some kind of help. She needed somebody to help her, not judge her, not make her feel, silly minded or not smart. She didn't need somebody treating her as if she's, silly minded because she needed help. This woman that I was partnered with, she was so mean to this woman, unnecessarily mean to this woman. She did not want to help her. She was trying to make things as hard as possible for this woman. And it was clear the woman on the receiving end, she just needed help. Some women get a kick out of being unnecessarily mean to other women. I can't vibe with that. I can't vibe with mistreating another woman just because you can. I can't vibe with being mean to another woman who clearly is reaching out to you for help. But you want to show how big you are. You want to show how powerful, how I'm that girl. So you're not going to help this woman. That's an insecure woman's move. It's not time for that. You're not in a boardroom. You're here to help. I don't like those kind of things. So for me, dealing with unnecessarily mean, and I keep saying unnecessarily mean because there are going to be times where some women, they try you. And I truly believe a lot of the jealousy and envy amongst women, it happens because some women, they get their kicks out of showing other women, oh, you're nothing compared to me. And that means you are everything compared to them half the time. A woman who feels the need to go out of her way to be mean to you, to mistreat you, to put you down, she's showing you that you are that girl. Because it's something about you that is triggering so much envy, insecurity, or just vitriol on the inside of her that she can't even do right. She can't even help you with something minor. Just be a beautiful looking woman, a woman that showed up and give her best effort, and then try to get help from another woman that's a jealous, envious hater. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. She don't need no help. Trash mentality. Not feeling good in their own skin. Absolutely. Yeah, that really grieved me. I don't like that. Treating people badly, man or woman, but especially other women, just because. So at the end of everything, this woman still had an issue that was not solved. And for me, it was something that I was a part of, but I was not the lead on it. So I couldn't really overstep and just do what I wanted to do. I could, but it wouldn't have been a good look, So I don't even know what happened with this woman. She was interacting with this woman who was being so unnecessarily mean to her. But I say this to say, sometimes women are more concerned with showing themselves to be somebody instead of really feeling like somebody on the inside and treating other people well. Those kind of personalities I cannot vibe with. If you have mean girl energy, I just don't want to be bothered. Can I still help you? Can we still have small talk here and there? Can I still be cordial and kind? Absolutely. But as far as getting close, no, I can't be close to a mean spirited person, a mean spirited woman. Like you want to sit down on a Saturday afternoon and just put down other women? No. As they say, that's very low vibrational and toxic. Why would we do that when we could be like at the mall, or we could be, sitting around making plans to go out to, or to make money, or to look cute, or, talk about our relationships, or talk about our kids if you have kids, or just talk about whatever other than somebody else's business. What is that? That brings me to one of the next points. Sometimes women realize being to themselves is better than being around the wrong people because you're not a low vibrational thinker. You're not a low vibe kind of person. You don't really even fit in with these, how can I say it? You just don't fit in with the low vibe, negative, just hating energy that is floating around. Sometimes you realize staying to yourself is not really an option, because what else do you have? It's either you're going to stay to yourself, or you're going to be around people who have no business of their own. So they have to be in somebody else's business. Now, I'm not speaking about, how's so-and-so doing? Well, she was going through a tough time. Yeah, I heard, but, hopefully everything will work out for her. Yeah, I know. She don't deserve that. Okay. But to spend an entire afternoon and now we just talking about what she could have did, should have did. No, baby, I need to focus on myself. Like I could literally let's talk about how we're gonna lose this extra 5 pounds. Let's talk about what new hairstyles are in season for the summer. Let's talk about what the Lord told you and something you could pass on to me. How has God been speaking to you and you can help me? How's everything going with your kids? Any new work from home opportunities, any way we can make money in an easier way. Women who are not jealous, envious haters, there's so many other things we can focus on. Let's just go to the museum, which I started to do that today. Just randomly go to the museum, get some coffee, and just walk around and look at art. I love doing things like that. There are so many museums where I live, so I could just go to any one of my choice. Get me a cute coffee, nice, tasty coffee, and look at some paintings, learn something, sit in a nice ambiance, anything. Go to TJ Maxx. I was there the other day. When I get stressed, I don't want to put down somebody else. I want to just go look at something cutesy, talk to the Lord, get my mind right. This is what women who are grounded in themselves do. And I'm not speaking like I'm the cat's pajamas, whatever that saying is. Okay. I'm just saying you don't have to be a perfect human being to treat other people well. The way you feel about you as a woman, that's going to reflect in how you treat other women. And some women do not understand that. A lot of the jealousy and envy is happening because other women are not taking the time to focus on their own elevation, to focus on their own level up, to focus on their own mind and their own spirit. That's another thing, that women who realize staying to themselves is better than being around the wrong people. You start realizing you can accomplish more in your life when you get around people or get away from people who are holding you back with absolutely nothing. They have nothing to offer you other than somebody else's business, some kind of drama, and something that's not going to add any value to you. And once you get to a certain age as a woman, you start realizing that I don't want to sit around talking about people all day. I have other things I could be doing. Absolutely, Miss Paula Green. You can get so much things, so many things accomplished when you realize staying to yourself is more important or it's better than being around the wrong people. Sometimes when you're around the wrong people, they will distract you so much so that you forget what's really important to you. Sometimes as women, it might sound dramatic, but you really forget who you are as a woman, as a person. You'll be walking around, you'll be around these people and be like, I don't cuss. That's not me. I don't just randomly, I don't, speak this way on the regular. I'm not bitter and sour in my personality. This is not me. That don't make me feel good. I'm not walking around trying to go whatever. That's not me. And you start wondering what is going on. Why do I feel so heavy? It's like that heaviness that comes over you. I truly believe for some women, that's their body, that's their mind. For me, it's God telling you, you need to make some changes in your life. You don't need to be associated with these people. You don't need to be associated with this job or this situation. You need to stay away from them people. Sometimes my sis don't know how to make discussion. I'm grounded in myself and keeping my spirit up, even in the midst of hardship, but she'll call the vent about other people and their trials. You know, Daime, sometimes, I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry. Sometimes that's all people know. All they know is other people's issues. All they know is talking about what's going on with somebody else because they don't know themselves. They really don't know what they like, what they want to do, what they want to accomplish. It's just always about somebody else. And when you start getting to a place where you realize staying to yourself is better than being associated with the wrong people, you don't want to be inundated with other people's issues. I'm not talking about you don't want to help out other people, you don't love other people. I'm not talking about that. I'm speaking on you're just as valuable as the next person. You have things you need to accomplish in your own life. You are protecting your peace and you want to be unbothered. You want to be successful in whatever success looks like to you. You want to insert ad. You want to make sure that whatever it is you're doing and accomplishing is just as important as whatever other people want you to think on. So staying to yourself and realizing that, staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people. There are some people, they know that if your mind is free from their negativity, you will become a person they do not recognize. That brings me to the next point. Yep, cut off contact if you are in a group area. The idea that you become someone that they do not recognize, there are some people that cannot handle that. Sorry, I had to check out something technical real quick. There are some people, they understand that when you're not distracted by their nonsense, you can accomplish so much. So another reason why women start realizing that staying to themselves is better than being around the wrong people, you will accomplish more. When you start accomplishing more in your life, when you start realizing that these people were nothing more than a distraction, that's when suddenly, oh, I'm starting to lose weight. Oh, I'm starting to get more rest. Oh, I got a better job. I start working for myself. I can tell you, when I stopped being around the wrong people, that's when things started changing for me. When I stopped being around those people who were doing nothing more than trying to get me to doubt myself, because sometimes people, even if you're comfortable with them, even if you're familiar with them, sometimes they can serve as a roadblock in your life. Sometimes the very people who you think will be there to help you be better, they're doing nothing more than hindering your progress. especially if they don't have anything going on. When you start becoming somebody that other people do not recognize, they're going to treat you as if you are so wrong for distancing yourself. And the truth of the matter is, sometimes you cannot truly become the woman you want to be around certain people. They won't let you. And when I say they won't let you, I don't mean that, they have control over you. It's like if you're around people who have a stuck, stagnant, messy mindset, if you talk about your plans, your goals, your dreams, the things you want to do, they're not going to know how to handle that. They're going to say you acting brand new or treat you like you're a joke as if it's something you can't do. You don't need those kind of things. You don't need that kind of headache. And I know for myself, when I got to the point to realize I don't need this kind of headache in my life, that's when I started accomplishing more. That's when I was able to write 4 books. That's when I was able to create 2 YouTube channels that are both monetized. That's when I was able to start really making moves in my life and seeing, okay, I don't want to do this kind of job. So what kind of job do I want to do? That's when I started focusing on what I like, what I want, and not what it's going to look like to other people. Absolutely, Latrice Gandy, they can get you in trouble too. Did you know I offer one-on-one life coaching too? I'm going to put the link back to the email for the life coaching. So I do one-on-one life coaching too. This just came to mind. I don't promote it as often as I should. However, I do one-on-one life coaching. Do not ask me to coach you if you want things sugar-coated. I do not sugarcoat things. And a difference between being a life coach and a therapist. Therapists will let you sit there and just do and say whatever you want to say and try to work you through it. But I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is, and you can take that what you want. So if you want life coaching, I will leave my email, and you can email me, and we can set up that time. You can actually just book on my Google Calendar. So I do that also. I figure I need to throw it out there. I be so unbothered that I don't promote the things that can help me help you. I have to get better at that. I have to be better at being a businesswoman because I really just like to help. Like the way I am on this channel, for the most part, maybe not in overdrive, but for the most part, I was this way in my everyday life with people I know. So to me, it just came natural to do this kind of thing. They like to provoke. Just stay positive and nice and positive. You would think it's that simple, and Latrice, I don't say this to like come at you in any kind of way, but I understand that just stay nice, just stay positive, just focus on the Lord. Because I hear all of that. I see all of that. When people have this idea that if I just focus on this only, then all these other things will go away. They won't affect me. If I just, focus on the positive, not the negative, you can't be aware of your enemy. And this is even spiritual for my spiritual women. You can't be aware of how to protect yourself from the enemy if you don't know who your enemy is. So it's a little naive because I see some women just focus on the positive. It goes back to being unbothered truly and protecting your peace truly. You can't do any of that and stay confident in yourself, stay grounded and unshaken if you don't have an idea of what you're dealing with. It's like ignorance is not bliss. The provoking and harassing spirit is the most wicked emotion known to woman. I went through age 16 to 33. Absolutely. Just focus on the positive. Focus on the positive. Absolutely. The way I believe, there's a scripture that says, meditate on those things that are good, those things that are lovely, those things that bring a good report. The meditation of your heart should not be haters, 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 jealous, 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 jealous. You can be aware of something. I'll equate that to somebody who went to school and they have their degree. You might have your degree in biochemistry. Are you thinking about biochemistry every single day of your life? Probably not. Are you aware of the different principles of biochemistry or business or whatever it is you studied? And if somebody is speaking on that, all those things you learned and know about come to mind? Absolutely. It's the same thing when we speak on jealousy and envy, when we speak on dealing with miserable, toxic people. It's not so that you can sit in your house and wonder, who's hating on me today? I wonder if they're a hater. I wonder if they're jealous. It's not that. It's so you're aware. So once again, you can walk through life knowing that, okay, I came to this event. She's looking at me weird. I'm not leaving. My coworkers look at me side-eyed when I dress up at work. So now I'm going to go in there looking like them, have my stretch pants on, my t-shirt, and not have my hair done so I don't draw attention to myself. No, I'm still going to show up looking good and feeling good, and however they feel about them is their problem. I'm still going to go after the opportunities that I want, despite if somebody says I sold out. I'm still going to make life as easy as possible for myself, even if other women get jealous of me because I'm able to do things that they're not able to do. I'm still going to do what I want to do, what I need to do for me, regardless if somebody likes it or not, within reason. It's about your confidence. You become like those you're around. Absolutely. So when people get mad that you realize staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people, it's also because you highlight the negative impact they have in your life. People in general, I think it's just human reaction, human behavior. People don't really want to look at the negative things about themselves. And when you start realizing that some people are a bad influence, as they say, or being around certain people are no good for you, it's almost as if you're highlighting the negative things about them and they don't like it. And I think it's human nature. Nobody really wants to have the negative things about themselves highlighted. But for people who are not yet ready to deal with the things that make them toxic or to deal with the things that make them somebody hard to be around or hard to deal with, you distancing yourself, you calling out their behavior, you staying away from them, it almost makes them feel as if you're the problem because you're no longer able or willing to deal with my disrespect. You're not able, or you think you're better because how dare you not let me treat you how I want to treat you? It's me. It's me. So distancing yourself from certain people, it's like it almost highlights the things that are wrong with them. Some people actually have this entitlement thing. So a lot of women see this kind of thing with friends, with family. With friends, with family. When they start getting upset that you choose to distance yourself, it's like, okay, but I'm your auntie, I'm your cousin. That still doesn't give you a right to disrespect someone. That still doesn't give them a right to mistreat you. See, women also who realize that staying to themselves is better than being around the wrong people, you're no longer settling for mistreatment simply because you want people around you. This is something that I had to come to terms with, that I'd rather be by myself before I subject myself to unnecessary mistreatment. The world is not perfect. No one is perfect. Of course, you're going to have little issues here and there, but the building relationships and having bonds with people who are a little too comfortable disrespecting you, a little too comfortable treating you however they want to treat you, women who start realizing that they'd rather stay to themselves than to deal with the wrong people, you stop overlooking blatant disrespect. Absolutely. It all sounds like bully behavior so they can feel stronger when they're insecure. Absolutely. When people feel like, or they get a kick out of, much like what I was speaking about earlier in the live, the woman who just felt like she was, on top of the world, mistreating another woman, being unnecessarily mean to this woman. Sometimes people who are jealous, envious, or just miserable and insecure, they feel like the more they mistreat other people, the more powerful they are. And when you distance yourself from people who are attempting to bully you, attempting to mistreat you, attempting to just blatantly disrespect you, it's like you're taking the power away from them. So you realize staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people. And this is also, and this is how I believe about it, certain people from the past, they need to stay in the past. See, women who are truly unbothered and maintaining their peace, we don't start backtracking into the past out of desperation. Now, this more so relates to relationships because a lot of women will tap back into old relationships with people, especially men who were no good, who were toxic, and especially men who showed you that they cannot handle you and where you are right now as a woman. I know some of you have been wanting me to do more videos about jealousy and envy when it comes to men and how they're jealous and envious of women. And the reason why I don't do that is because I believe somebody else is already doing that. When it comes to men and their jealousy towards women, I don't think there's really a lot that needs to be said about that because with men, it almost always comes down to their ego and their pride. If you're the kind of woman that understands that it's okay to be selective with the type of men you want to deal with, you're going to have men who get jealous and say you think you're better and all these different things. Some women choose to stay single, choose to stay to themselves before they invite the wrong man into their lives. And that is wise. That is smart, in my opinion. Now, you have some women, they'll see how you operate when it comes to relationships, and they want you just to grab at anybody who likes you. And no, women have options. When a woman is not pressed and she rather stay to herself than to invite a man who's going to be jealous, envious, or just miserable into her life, that is wise. And there are some people who don't like that. Not every woman is desperate to have a man in their life. Not every woman is just going to accept anybody. Like, this is not that old song, a little piece of man is better than no man. Absolutely not. And I think more women are understanding that. So even when it comes to things like that, staying to yourself. It's okay to admire someone from afar, but not invite them into your life, invite them into your space. A little bit of a sidebar, but not really. When it comes to relationships, you have to realize you're inviting not just that person, but you're inviting a different spirit into your life. And when their spirit does not align with yours, you could really be setting yourself up for something dangerous. But I think I'll get into a live about that at a different time. Staying to yourself. What does it mean to stay to yourself? You can be around people, you can engage with others, but still stay to yourself, meaning you are not an open book. When a woman realizes that staying to herself is better than being around the wrong people, you can be around certain people, but you're not an open book. No more telling them all of your business. Yes, you caught alive. I'm so glad you're here. Hello. You're not telling them all of your business. You are not an open book. They only know what you allow them to know. In other words, moving in silence. In other words, keeping your life private. And I've spoken about that, but when it comes to this jealousy, envy, and trying to keep miserable people away from you, knowing how to stay to yourself, even when you're around certain people, that is going to protect you mentally and emotionally. It's going to help you understand that as a woman, not everybody should be privy to the personal details of your life. nor do they need to be. Unless they are a part of the situation, unless they are able to help you in some way, unless they are encouraging you, inspiring you, everybody does not need to know everything about you. That goes back to that exclusivity. A woman who becomes more exclusive with herself, she start realizing that only certain people need to know certain things about her. I used to be an open book. I would tell people all my business. I got a new job, tell everybody. I started a new venture, tell everybody. Thinking about moving, tell everybody. Thinking about losing weight, tell everybody. Not until I realized that number one, that's immature kind of thinking. Number two, it almost tricks your brain into believing that you're accomplishing something when you're not doing anything. That's another thing. Women who realize staying to themselves is better than being around the wrong people. Just a psychological perspective, the more you talk about a certain thing or talk about doing a certain thing, the more you talk about it, the more you kind of trick your brain into believing you're already doing it when you're not doing anything. Like you say, I'm going to start a business. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. But you haven't filed any paperwork. You haven't even created your LLC. You don't have a business bank account. You have no product, but you just keep talking and talking and talking. So just from a mental, psychological perspective, it's better to just make moves and not talk about it all the time. When I stopped talking about what I was going to do and inviting everybody else's opinion into my situation, that's when I really start accomplishing the things that I set out to do. It's like you don't leave room for other people's opinions. You don't leave room for your own mind to trip you out. You don't leave room for distraction. You just start making moves. Absolutely. That's what they used to say back in the day. Don't talk about it, just be about it. There are some people they love you. You'll talk about whatever you're going to do as long as they know for a fact you're not going to do it. Some people, they might think they know you and they're like, okay, she talk about this stuff all the time. She ain't going to do nothing. She's not going to do nothing. But the moment you really put into action the things you say you want to do, that's when you start really seeing who's really your support, who's really for you. And it can hurt. This is another reason why sometimes women realize staying to yourself is more important than being around others, because you start realizing who really supports you at your worst and at your best. There are some people, it's easy for them to support you when you're at your worst. But when you are feeling top notch or you're coming out on the other side of that thing, there are some people who don't want to be bothered with you. And for some women, if you go through that enough, you start realizing, you know what? I'd rather stay to myself at this season of life than to be around the wrong people, the people who are waiting for the other shoe to drop, the people who are waiting for something bad to happen. Some people just want a front row seat to see you fail. That's another reason why some women will just stay to themselves. So any failures you experience, at least it was done privately. You don't have a whole audience to rub in your face. What didn't work? What did work? You should this, you should have that. What do you mean, Latrice Gandy? They changed my first book. What do you mean by that? I am. Hmm. Did somebody try to come at you when you were writing the book? Like, what happened? Staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people. The wrong people. Let me see if I missed any of your comments. The world, strawberry shortcake. The world is becoming so divided and selfish. It's so sad, but I guess it is what it is. Strawberry shortcake, and I like that. That's cute. That is true, but you don't have to become like your surroundings. So this is another point I want to make too. Just because people around you are becoming more evil, becoming more wicked, they're getting more comfortable mistreating other people, that doesn't mean you have to become just like them. So this is another reason, and I know for myself personally, this is another reason why I realized, and many women realize, staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people. It's because you don't want to become like those things that are tormenting you. A lot of the jealousy and envy amongst women is coming from women who, instead of trying to be better than their surroundings, they became just like their surroundings. There are some women, they were around messy, jealous, envious, mean-spirited women, so they became just like those women. They decided if you can't beat them, join them. That is not what we do. We're not going to let somebody taint our character. Nickname for Diamond. Okay, I'm going to call you Diamond. Diamond. Oh, I like that. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it right. Diamond, but I'll call you Diamond. There are some women, they didn't understand that they had a choice. And you see this. The mean girl energy can be taught from a very early age. Some of the jealousy and envy amongst women, that stuff is learned early on. Treat women like your enemy. Get at them before they get at you. Be the mean girl so that you're not subjected to this. It's all a defense mechanism because, and this is my opinion, and again, I am not a licensed therapist or a psychologist. I call myself a life coach, and I'm just a woman who's been through things. A lot of that kind of rhetoric to be mean on purpose is because women are trying to mask their insecurity and they're afraid of being hurt. They're afraid of being hurt by other women, other people, so they be the bully before they bully me. And that is something that I do not teach on this channel. I've spoken about, the nice, nasty and dealing with this and dealing with that. But under no circumstances do we become just as mean, miserable, and nasty as our environment. Don't let anyone strip you of your confidence, of your femininity, of those things that make you a kind and decent person. Being aware of how other women can be towards you is not a license for you to just treat them exactly how they treat you. Absolutely not. My thing is, don't deal with people who are acting like that. And number two, somebody has to be the example. Because believe it or not, there are some women, they get jealous and envious of other women because you represent something that they cannot be. Because you represent something that they didn't even know they could be. They didn't know I can walk out here and I can look good and feel good, but I don't have to wear a snarl on my face. I can actually smile and look personable. I can actually be approachable. Like I don't have to look mean and act mean in order to keep people off of me when I really don't feel that way. There are some women, they will go out and they look phenomenal. Hair done, nails done, everything did. And then you compliment them and they give you a nasty look or a nasty response. I see some of these glamour photos, which look absolutely stunning, but it's like, I don't know if women are told like, don't smile in order to be taken serious. You can't smile. And I know some of this is personal preference. Some of this is just the way people look, but you're not going to tell me because a lot of these women who have that mean girl bully energy, they can't crack a smile to save their lives. It's almost like men. And I hate to say it that way, but it is what it is. Some men, have you ever seen men in pictures? They're trying not to smile. I remember a while back, Kanye West, they was trying to take a picture of him and something was funny and he was trying to hold back his laughter so he can maintain his seriousness. He was like, and trying to still be serious. A lot of women still have that way about them. They're like, if I smile, then this woman is going to, think I'm weak, think I'm soft. Women are soft. By nature, being feminine, that's something that we should naturally already embody. Being soft Being able to smile, being able to present yourself in a more feminine way does not mean that you don't know how to get down with the get down if you need to. That doesn't mean that you're not smart. That doesn't mean that you're not aware. That just means that you're not walking around with a chip on your shoulder. I say that to say a lot of the women who carry this mean girl, mean spirited, toxic, jealous, envious energy that I speak about, sometimes they have so much of a fear of being hurt that they have to hurt other people. Does this give them a license or bypass their responsibility in treating other people right? Absolutely not. But a woman who realizes that staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people, you don't have time to tiptoe around other people's insecurities. And I'll add this, to me, sometimes if somebody's face is not looking right to me, I'll get out of the room or I'll just stay away. Like, fix your face. Like, I don't like sitting around somebody who just looking like they smell trash all the time. I can't stand it. And I understand rest and be face and all that. I get it. I think a lot of us have that. But if you're just sitting around and you just look like you smell skunks all the time, fix your face or get away from me or something. I can't. You're bringing down the vibe. I can't. Sit in the room and you just sitting there looking at everybody like, I don't like that. I can't. It irritates me so. So I'll focus on myself if I have to be in the room, of course, but I make it a point. And it is what it is. It comes off how it comes off. In my younger years, in my young adult life, I was around people who were just carried that heavy, miserable, negative, hostile energy. In my adult years and the things that I can control, my circle is not filled with that kind of energy. I don't like it. I'm not saying you got to sit around, like you're the Kool-Aid man, as he used to say. No, I'm not saying that. It's just, you're alive. You woke up this morning. You might have access to food, a chair, a bed, something. Just to take it easy. I don't know. That's just me. Staying to yourself keeps you in a good mood sometimes too. Who wants to just sit around somebody looking miserable all the time? That's annoying. It's annoying. Helping others makes you feel good, and it also takes the focus off of other stuff. Absolutely. Helping others, help other people. What was your point in saying that, strawberry shortcake? Were you responding to something I said earlier, or like what was the point of that? Can't even have a good countenance. Too busy worried about what other people think. If I smile, they think I'm weak. You will allow jealous, envious, or miserable people to strip you, to take away your femininity, to take away your whimsy, your charm. It's another reason why I speak on these things so much. Being around the wrong people, it can deplete you. I had a coworker ask me why I was smiling at 7 a.m. Lovely doll. I understand a lot of people are not morning people, but a smile should not bother someone. Now, I can see if you were doing a lot of talking first thing in the morning, then I can see that. Happy Sabbath, happy Saturday, quality queen, welcome. So a lot of people are not morning people. I am not a morning person. My day mentally does not get started until after about 12, 1 o'clock. I'm not a morning person. I don't like a whole lot of conversation first thing in the morning. Am I mistreating people and snapping? Absolutely not. Just please don't say too much or you're going to be standing and talking to yourself. So I get that. Just because somebody's not a morning person, they don't want to be talked to so much early. That's why most of the jobs I've done, I made a point to not work early in the mornings because I just don't like it. It's too much. And I'm not saying smiling is wrong. Nothing wrong with smiling. You want to be gracious. But talking to me a lot first thing in the morning, you can talk, but I'm not listening. But I get what you're saying. Some people, you smiling and it's like happiness first thing in the morning. No, for me, it's just like, I'm not there yet. Like, remember what you said and then bring that to me later on this morning or later in the afternoon. I've had that kind of comment though. Why are you smiling? I've had that in noon, in the evening, smiling so much for. People who are miserable say those kind of things. Why is she smiling so much for? Because they have nothing to smile about, or they think they have nothing to smile for. Just miserable. And believe it or not, some women have actually been taught that smiling too much, how can I say it? Their personality and their spirit was suppressed at a very young age. They might have had a mother, a cousin, an auntie who every time they showed any ounce of femininity, of womanliness, of, being enthused about something, it was shut down. So they came out of their room, came down the steps and had on a cute outfit and felt good about themselves. And the toxic mama said, girl, where you think you're going? Why are you so dressed up? Nobody's dressing that way. Or why you have that on? Confidence ruined. One comment. Or over and over again, those comments. So now any woman who gets dressed up beyond t-shirt and jeans or beyond stretch pants and a shirt, you consider doing too much. Because mama shut them down when they were younger and told them they were doing too much. That you don't have to do all that. We only go into the store. You don't have to do all that. We only go into the graduation. You don't have to do all that. We only go into the doctor's office. As if doctor's appointments, as if going out in public, period, is not an occasion to bring forth your best effort. A lot of women have this jealous, envious, hater-like mentality because they were shut down at an early age. You get your hair done. Girl, why you get your hair done like that? You look older. Why you get your hair done like that? Ain't nobody wearing their hair like that. The girls around here don't really wear their hair like that. So why you spend so much money for those shoes? They, just saying little stuff. Haters say things to try to diminish your confidence. And if you don't recognize those things for what it is, that same toxic, miserable behavior can be passed on from generation to generation. And now you got a whole generation full of insecure women begetting more jealous, insecure bullies. And this happens a lot within our community. It's nothing wrong with hyping up other women. It's nothing wrong with, at the least, minding your business. If you don't have nothing good to say, don't say anything. That's still in play. It's okay. I understand all women are not at the point where they can compliment other women and feel good about it. That's not necessary. Just let people be. It's okay. Thank you so much for the jewels and the gifts. I don't like someone just comfortable in their misery where they don't like other people's happiness and carefreeness. Everybody has a right to feel how they feel, but they don't have a right to take out their issues on other people. So if somebody is miserable with their own lives, that's their business. Do what you need to do. Pray, meditate, get another job, go to the gym, buy new clothes, borrow new clothes, grow your hair, get some hair. As women, there is no reason why another woman should be so envious and jealous of another woman to the point that she wants to destroy her life or to take her out of the present time. There's so much as women that we can do to better ourselves. There's absolutely zero reason for another woman to hate and be jealous and envious of other women where they want to take them out of the present time. That's why I don't allow mean-spirited women around my daughter. Absolutely not. I shielded my daughter also from being around mean-spirited people. Now, in school, she dealt with it and stuff like that. I'm not heavy, but she was around it. But she didn't have any issues personally because, she knows. She knows. Nothing major, but she was aware. It didn't crush her spirit or her confidence. Wouldn't allow that. But she was around it, Certain things, it's like, okay, if it's not impacting you personally, don't worry about it. people are who they are. There's so much we can do to elevate and level up as women. Like, I think the issue with women who get jealous and envious of other women, and this is going to sound like odd and very like, they're mad because they can't be the woman they're jealous of. There are some women, and I spoke about this a while ago about a woman who was actually taken out of here. Her so called friend set her up to be taken out. She owned a hair salon in Mexico, I believe. And now that woman, she is acting like her. Like, she actually went and got surgery to have her face done and all of that. I believe she got hair extensions or hair transplant where she actually looks like this woman who was taken out of here. The one who was supposedly her friend that got set up. That woman, I think her name was Valeria Velez or Valeria Velez. It's unfortunate what happened to her. This woman was supposed to be her friend. And it's said that her and her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, kind of set her up. I'm bringing this up to say that this woman, being around the wrong people, she couldn't recognize the signs that this woman went past the way of admiring her. She actually wanted to be her. I say this to say, when you're dealing with jealous, envious people who actually want to be you and they realize they can't be you, that's when sometimes it can get very, to that next level. I say this to say, women who are jealous and envious and want to mistreat other women, understanding that you can only be you. And women who are not jealous and envious, I think they understand that you can only level up to the best of your ability. When you're not comparing yourself to other women, when you start realizing that staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people, you get away from people who are comparing themselves to you. You don't want to feel like you're in competition with other people. You're being authentic to who you are as a woman. So when I say there's no room for women to be haters or to be jealous of other women, to level up, to focus on bettering yourself, you're not trying to look and be like another woman. You're trying to be the best version of yourself. And when you have women who seemingly do not understand that they can only be them, they can't be anybody else, it's like they don't want to accept that. It's like, no, if I'm not like her, then I'm nobody. It's insecurity. It's like for some women, genetics play a part in how much weight they're going to lose. Genetics play a part in how far they go with how long their hair is going to be. Genetics play a part in many things when it comes to their beauty and their looks. For some women, and this is full transparency, I understand for me, at this point in my life, I go to the gym. I work out like maybe 2 to 3 times a week because I'm not trying to run the runway and I'm not trying to be endlessly sore. But I know for me, at this point in my life, go to the gym 2 to 3 times a week. Try to eat relatively healthy, like 85-90% of the time. Even in doing all of that, I'm still going to have some kind of cellulite. Okay? And I'm okay with that. It's my genetics. The women in my family had it, and I'm going to have some too. And I'm okay with that. I say that to say, I'm not going to look at the women who go to the gym, lose the weight, and don't have an ounce of cellulite, and they get mad and start mistreating them. I'm trying to be the best version of myself, not somebody else. I say that to say when women start accepting their reality and being authentic to who they are as women, it leaves no room to be jealous and envious of other women. If other women, I'm only using this as an example, if other women have long flowing hair down to their back and you will only have a beautiful luscious bob because that's just what runs in your family, it don't go no longer than there, so be it. Make the bob do what it does. Look good, feel good, think about yourself. Some women can't do that. They have to compare themselves to other women. And I'm trying to make sure I read through your comments because I don't want to just read and just rant. I want to also answer some of your comments, your questions, anything, any questions you might have, any topics you want me to cover, any perspectives. So stay into yourself. Quality queen. I mean, really, you can only work with what you have as a woman. You can't be anybody else. It's like you're not a black woman with a textured, beautiful, luscious afro. You're not going to wake up one day and suddenly be a Hispanic woman with long, wavy hair. I mean, you can be. You can buy it. You can buy it. But if you're trying to just truly, be authentic and cool with yourself, the comparison can't be. Staying to yourself is better than being around the wrong people. I want to backtrack onto how staying to yourself is almost like a shield. So it's not to say that, oh, this is bothering me, this piece. My goodness. I love these head wraps, but sometimes they're just like in the way. I actually have a deep conditioning thing happening under here. You didn't need to know that, but I figure I'd tell you. Rosemary and Bantu oil deep conditioner. It's amazing. Staying to yourself is a shield. The less people know about you, the less they can destroy the things you have going on. Now, again, it's not about staying away from people that you want to be around. And I want to put in this disclaimer. Staying to yourself does not mean you don't go get help if you need help. Staying to yourself does not mean you no longer vent. Staying to yourself does not mean that you don't reach out for help when you need it. You just make sure you reach out to the right people. You're not reaching out to people who want to, make things worse. For a long time, I was reaching out to people who made situations worse. I'm like, this didn't help me whatsoever. I feel more anxious. I feel more irritated. Work out with what you got and be happy. Acceptance. Absolutely. Absolutely. Staying to yourself as a shield. So reach out to the right people who, but don't reach out to people who And this is another thing women do. And I think this shows immaturity. If you reach out to people and you know that they're only going to tell you what you should have did, they're only going to try to clown you, they're only going to try to make fun of you, they just always have something negative to say about the situation. Why do you keep confiding in those people? I think sometimes women like the drama. And women who start realizing that staying to themselves makes for a more peaceful life, we don't want the drama. I don't want to invite issues into my life. I don't like having to argue with people and I'm giving them the ammunition to come at me with. No. They got in my phone. What do you mean by that? They got in your phone. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, like and subscribe to the channel. The link for all of the books are in the description box of the live chat, as well as the description box. It's a pinned comment. So how to be a feminine woman, the blueprint, Girl on Girl Wars, a book on jealousy and envy amongst women, how to detox from toxic people, and how to be an unbothered woman. I also have the link to the All Things Woman Cash App. I appreciate you all. Become a channel member. The channel membership, there are over 60 videos in the channel membership. Videos that are not made publicly available to all people because I want to keep it exclusive. Certain topics are exclusive. I also have a second channel. And just to verify for you all, that is my channel. Soft Strength Society belongs to me. I am the founder and the owner and the content creator behind it. So you can subscribe to that channel as well. For some of my dual subscribers, I see when you put the little heart emoji, when you put the butterfly, and you put the heel. I appreciate you so much. Over on that channel, we don't talk so much about what people are doing, and we talk more about what we do and what we respond to and how we operate. It leans more into the divine femininity and being unbothered and being at peace. It's almost as if it's a response to this channel. So once you know about all of this stuff and you are aware of it, you're okay with it, you know how to deal with it, then you can go on over to Soft Strength Society and like bask in your femininity, in your soft strength, in that unbothered way of being. We talk about regulating our nervous system and getting enough sleep and being unbothered and being at peace and dilly-dallying and being whimsical beings and still being able to hold our own, even though we dwell and thrive in feminine softness. Like, then we get more into the personality and the character traits of who we are as women. Not so much about what other people are doing, but how we respond and just how we are and how we desire to be. So if you are not subscribed to Soft Strength Society, I suggest you do so. It sounds like you're saying, Latrice, that somebody tapped into your information. Are a lot of you, because this is something I really haven't gotten into, this stalking and people wiretapping you and following you and things like that. Have a lot of you dealt with that kind of thing? Or like, because the things I speak on, it's not that. But I see some of those, like, how do I deal with somebody who's wiretapping me and that kind of stuff? What do you mean by that? Now I'm asking you. This is your portion of the live screen of the live chat. I've spoken about obsession and stalking and those kind of things on the channel, but some of the things you all mentioned, like neighbors, nosy neighbors, and I'm trying to keep this live chat on topic. But when it comes to jealousy, envy, stand to yourself, some of this stuff just goes hand in hand. You know, I've seen a lot of comments, especially one from one certain subscriber, where they speak on a neighbor that's always, you know, being intrusive and crossing boundaries. Stand to yourself instead of interacting with your neighbors. Nothing wrong with wanting to be neighborly. Nothing wrong with wanting to show that you're happy being a part of the community. But some people, especially when you live in close proximity to them, if they show you they're a little weird or a little odd or they do too much in the form of crossing boundaries, sometimes it's best to stay to yourself, even if it's somebody you're in close proximity to, even if it's a neighbor. Some people, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. For me, I don't have issues with neighbors, but we also all have boundaries too. You know, everybody's aware of each other. So it's like if we don't see each other in a long time, I know that one of my neighbors probably would knock on the door. Or if they saw something out of sorts with in front of my house, or I saw something in front of their house, we would let each other know. Or you see my kid doing this or vice versa, you know, we let each other know. But just being in my space constantly, no. Or just looking and staring at my being in my house, no. Boundaries are a thing. And when it comes to that kind of thing, and this is a little bit of a sidebar, but you know, jealousy and envy with people who are in close proximity to you, i.e. neighbors, people like that, coworkers, sometimes the way you show up, it might not fit what they're used to. So some people, if you live in a certain community, for example, and you don't look like you should be there, or they're trying to figure out how can you live in a neighborhood like this, or how do you act like this? Where are you from? Sometimes it's because you don't fit the aesthetic of what they're used to seeing. You don't act like what they're used to being around, especially if what they're used to being around is not classy, is not, you know, someone who has more maturity or someone who has more confidence or someone who is more, no nonsense. If you're not willing to conform, sometimes people have an issue with you. Harassing you because they say to yourself, yeah, sometimes people try to pull you out your box and not for positive reasons. I can see when people are trying to get you involved, they want to get you involved, they want you to be around and they mean well, that's something different. But sometimes people just want to get in your business, especially the whole neighbor close proximity thing. You really have to have enough wisdom and discernment to know which one is what. Yeah, I don't believe in being the neighbor that letting people all in my house and all that. No, no. I'm not saying for like a visit or an event or something like that. I mean, just like, this is just my mentality, and you can tell me if you agree. I don't believe in allowing people to get too comfortable. If you've dealt with situations where you've allowed people to get too comfortable, you know that that experience can cause you to move differently. When people take your kindness for weakness and they get too comfortable and start disrespecting your boundaries or disrespecting your home or disrespecting your relationship, you start moving differently. You start being a little bit more strict. I don't let people get too comfortable. I don't believe in like, okay, we're neighbors, so that means you just call my husband and he can do yard work for you. Or I'll call your husband and he can do yard work for me. No, I still believe at the proper chain of command, so to speak. Which means if you want my husband to do something for you, you contact me and I will let him know and we'll see what happens. And vice versa. Unless we're all together talking about things. It's like those kind of things. Or even outside of relationship wise, something that's important to you. Your career, your job opportunities, business matters. Everybody shouldn't know the details of what you do. As far as what you do for a living, people don't really need to know that. Because the moment you tell somebody what you do for a living, they're trying to figure out how much they should respect you, or if they can use you, or pretty much how much respect. So, oh, you're a lawyer. Oh, you work at Walmart? Oh, okay. Depending on your neighborhood. Depending on where you live, of course. Like certain things, it's just, don't let people get too comfortable. I want to see how you treat me before you really know too much about me. Just based on my character and how I speak and how I act toward you. Back in the 90s, my parents had other parents in our home and vice versa. I played outside with their kids. I don't know if that's a lost thing today. Yeah, when I grew up in the 90s as well, and it was like that. But for many, how can I say it? It depends on how you grew up, the way your parents were. Yeah, I had people in my house too, all throughout the neighborhood and stuff like that. But it was different times. We're in a different time now. People are not as, and in the 90s, people were not that innocent either. Just more so things are in your face, but it's a different time. I can say people are not as innocent as they used to be. People are not looking out for the well-being of other people's families and kids. Not saying there aren't some people who are still like that. There are, but not too many. All these cases we're hearing on the news and everything else, and I don't watch the news like that. A lot of the news that I get is from being on YouTube, being a content creator. You're doing research. You're constantly on YouTube. So you see things, even just going on Google, you see the little post-it cards. They tell you what's happening in the world. I think long gone are the days of just allowing any and everybody to be in your house. I remember a while ago, I spoke about a young woman who was out gardening in her garden, and one of her neighbors walked by and wanted to speak to her. They were chit-chatting, and she invited her into the house for some coffee, and she was very self-conscious. She was very, apprehensive about her kitchen. Her kitchen was not finished. It was not really a nice looking kitchen. And the neighbor noticed that and deliberately went in the kitchen to see. Then she, fast forward, she wanted the lady to send her pictures of her kitchen because she made up a story saying her sister wants to have her kitchen just like hers. Long story short, she wanted pictures of this woman's kitchen so that she can embarrass this woman and show people how her kitchen was messed up. That kind of thing. Stand to yourself when it comes to certain people, especially when it comes to people who are in close proximity to you. Sometimes when you know that people are coming into your home and they're judging you, you start staying to yourself or not allowing certain people into your space. And I can hear someone saying, well, what do I have to be judged about? My kitchen is fine. My house is pristine. I have everything is beige and white. I have an aesthetic kitchen. I have an aesthetic living room. Everything is perfect for me. What do I have to worry about being judged? Even in that, people that have a miserable mentality, you still have to be mindful because they hate on everything. It was a celebrity that was invited to another celebrity's home. I forget who it was, but did they appreciate just being in the room with these people? No. They had to make a comment saying, his mother wasn't there. I was wondering why his mother wasn't there. Haters focus on everything except for what matters. That's the point. Instead of enjoying the free food, the ambiance, and being around all these rich people that's offering you all these things, they're focused on the fact that his mother wasn't there. Weird. And sometimes that's the best. Lovely Doll said, you've been in your home. Congratulations on your home for 4 years. And only people's been in my dad and my siblings. Absolutely. Your home does not need to be a revolving door for every and anybody. And I'm not talking about being hospitable. I believe whoever God puts on your heart or your mind to help, to have in your home. But for me, I don't feel such conviction to have people, just randomly coming through. Only me and God, absolutely. So, have you gotten the books? How to Be a Feminine Woman, The Blueprints, Girl on Girl Wars, a book on jealousy and envy amongst women, How to Be an Unbothered Woman, How to Detox from Toxic People. Join the All Things Woman membership. It's called the Feminine Elite membership. Over there are videos that are not made public. I'm also starting to post some videos that shows my process. So it's almost like blooper videos. Like when I start recording and then all of a sudden I say something that just didn't make sense, or I'm having a little self-talk, kind of gives you an inside look into the process. So I'm going to start putting things like that over in the membership too. I appreciate your gifts and the super chats, and I appreciate your cash apps. Just to be full transparent here, YouTube, they are a once a month thing. So when you all send me cash apps, that's automatically supporting me directly. And this is what I do primarily. So I appreciate you all. When you send those cash app, those gifts, things like that, buy the books, I appreciate you all. I believe that God blesses us to be a blessing, and we'll be blessed in return. So when you help other people in your everyday life, I help people. The way I believe, God blesses you when you do those kind of things. And I thank you for how you all contribute to that. Another thing, and I want to make this abundantly clear, I'm not a tarot reader. I'm not a card reader. I am not a psychic. I see some of you, and I know you mean well, so I really don't say much, but you're like, thank you for your reading. Do you do one-on-one readings? If I do a reading the way I believe, God will shut down all of this. That's my belief. I'm not a tarot card reader. I'm not a psychic. There's something about having discernment and allowing your life experience and that passion and desire to help other people and God's direction to just kind of drive you, that'll have people thinking you have some kind of superpowers or magic I guess. But I can assure you, I am not a tarot reader, a card reader, a psychic, or any of that. Prophecy and being a prophetess, prophetic, that is from the Lord. To my knowledge, I am not a prophetess, okay? God can give me that gift, but I consider myself sitting here having girl chat, encouraging you, educating you. I consider myself a life coach and a woman who has just been through some things enough and observe things enough to the point where I can assist other women. That's it. So I'm not a tarot reader. If you want to say something in the comment, you can say, I like your chats. I like your talks. I like your speeches. I like your lessons. I like your, messages. I'm not a preacher either. I'm not a woman preacher. I'm not a pastor. I'm not any of that. I just wanted to make that known because I'm like, I like your readings. Do you do one-on-one readings? And I'm like, what gives people the impression that I'm a tarot reader? Is it the reps that's throwing y'all? I don't know. Is it the reps? I love my reps. I'm not going to stop wearing my reps. But I'm like, maybe I'm giving psychic with the rep. I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know where the tarot reader part came from. And I know that, how I start my videos. I don't believe in getting on here and saying, do this, do that, do this, do that. So starting my video saying something like, these people are mad because, or these people thought, or they didn't realize, it's me talking to you. It's like we're having a conversation, we're having a dialogue. I believe people receive you better when you speak to them like you're having a conversation instead of saying, you need to stop. Don't do this. Don't do that. Beware. No, I treat YouTube and my subscribers, my followers, the people who watch me, I talk to you like you're sitting in front of me and we're having a conversation, sipping. These people are mad because that's how I speak to you all. Like I'm literally sitting in a room with you. Like, girl, let me tell you how. Or these people are mad because. So it's more conversational. And you probably don't need to know that, but I wanted to give you all kind of some insight. I don't know if that's something tarot readers do. Maybe they start theirs the same way, but I am not that. Anything you all would like to add before I wrap this up? I think I'm going to start doing lives on my computer more often because what I noticed, I didn't have any trolls. I love it. There was nobody I had to go in here and block. Love it. When I'm on my iPad, there's always someone I have to go in and block, and I didn't have to do that today. Latrice Gandy, I appreciate you for being here. And I appreciate all of your comments. The guy listeners, the handful of men listeners, I appreciate you all. I appreciate the fact that you are respectful. I appreciate you. You never know. In the future, I might open another YouTube channel that is going to be more inclusive of men. I've actually been talking to my husband about that because he can kind of be more involved. I'm going to ask a random question. Would any of you women on All Things Woman, would you mind if I had my husband on from time to time? Like if he got into the more like spiritual perspective of jealousy and envy? Would you all mind that if I let him come on once in a while? Not in place of me. I'm going to be here with him. But would you mind if he got on and came from like a more spiritual perspective? Because for me, I'm just talking. I'm just talking. Honestly, I just want to see you. Okay. I mean, tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. I'm asking because I've seen other content creators. Sometimes they'll have like their spouses on or they'll have a child on or something. And my children, they're not coming. But I was thinking, I wonder if they want to hear something from my husband or have him come on and, talk too. Let me know. It's not necessary, but, just a little change. And then also, as far as my posting schedule, because for me, in alignment with my Soft Strength Society girlies, I'm not rigid. I'm not overly scheduled because I live kind of more of a more free flowy kind of life. I don't have this strict, rigid schedule for myself. It might sound a little whatever, but I do things as I feel like doing it. So if I feel like posting every single day, I post every day. If I post 2 times a day, a couple times a day, then I do it. If I only post 4 times a week or 5 times a week, then that's what I'll do. Like, I don't have a strict way of being. Like, it depends on how I feel. If I wake up in the morning and I'm like, filled with a whole bunch of energy, you might get 2 or 3 videos from me in one day. If I wake up and I'm a little tired or I have some other things I want to do, you might get 1 video later in the day, or you might get one first thing in the morning. I know this is the opposite strategy from a lot of the YouTubers and how they teach the YouTube people to be, but in alignment with my Soft Strength Society girls, I follow my body's natural rhythm. And if it says you got to eat something before you get on this camera, then I'm going to do that and then get to the YouTube later because I love it. But I also have to honor my body too. That's important to me. If I don't post for a day, normally I don't go past like a day or so not posting, but I will listen to my body. In the beginning, I didn't do that. In the beginning, it's like no matter how you feel. And in the beginning, I was working full time. So I was like pumping out videos like this, going to work in the evening. I'm getting up early in the morning, doing my videos, getting kids, going to work. It was hustle. But as time went on, I'm like, I can't go on this way. I'm letting you all see the human side of me. Okay. So I honor my body. So thank you so much for who you are. Yes, I have a husband. It would be nice. Shirley Coleman. Okay. I would like to see your husband on with you. Awesome. Hopefully the views don't go down once my husband come on. I don't think so. And I'm not saying this is happening. I'm just asking your opinion. I really want to be a part just to have some other ideas. Because, husbands, they can be kind of like, my husband kind of be like that kind of way by the book. And I'm like, don't scare the people off now. So, I'm going to work on that. But I appreciate you all. Like and subscribe to this channel. Share this content. Make sure your notification bell is turned on so that you are aware when I post a brand new video. I will probably post another video on this channel later. And depending on how I feel, I might go live on Soft Strength Society. It's 3:42 now, so I'll probably go live over there after I order my dinner, and the dinner is here. So probably about 6 o'clock, I'll go live on Soft Strength Society. So I hope to see you all there. Nikki B. Moore, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So after I order my dinner, the dinner is here, fed, feeling good, children are fine, then I'm going to go live over there. Like and subscribe. Take care.